Greetings, Knights, Zhao Kai here again. I'm here with the skill specialization preview I promised in SS2. Undervolt, the Shinobi, Stormshaman, Necromancer, and Heliomancer are all getting their own specializations. Let's take a look together. In the new season, the Shinobi is receiving some skill adjustments. Smokescreen Jutsu has been reworked. Lock portion of your max mana to activate. You lob a smoke bomb that deals bludgeoning damage to enemies when dashing. Your shadow clones will mimic a simple dud bomb attack. Additionally, the shadow clones can now mimic your full level charged attacks. Spec Skill 1, Shadow Clone Jutsu, Twin. Spec, Manifest, summons a giant shadow clone, inheriting additional attack power and max life. However, excess summons put more mana on reserve. Spec and Mirage. When Shadow Clone lands a normal attack, there's a chance to create a temporary Shadow Clone, with a maximum number of temporary Shadow Clones on the field at a time. Spec, Asura. Shadow Clone gains Berserk when summoned, and grants nearby allies Berserk when Shadow Clone leaves the field, with the effect of Berserk and its duration increasing. Additional specializations for Shadow Clone Jutsu, Twin. Spec Skill 2, Grappling Strike. Spec, Unison. For each minion, harpoon damage and slashing damage increase. Spec, Momentum. You dodge attacks when dashing, and your weapons charge up attacks can be advanced. Spec, Alteration. Shadow Clone no longer mimics the harpoon throw, but instead mimics dash slashes. The total damage of the dash slashes is increased. Additional specializations for Grappling Strike. Exclusive Insane Gear, Forsaken Black Spikes. Legendary Effect. Shadow Clones inherit more substats and deal increased total damage. Shadow Clones from Shadow Clone Jutsu, Throng are considered permanent, but halved in numbers. Spec Skill 1, Thunderous Strikes. Spec, Harmonic. When a thunderbolt or column of thunder directly cast by you deals damage, they've a chance to call forth a sprite of nature at the cost of certain mana. Columns of thunder deal increased total damage. Spec, Unfettered. The skill now puts your mana on reserve to call down a thunderbolt with every normal attack. Thunderbolts have increased damage, but no longer expend supercharge to discharge columns of thunder. Spec, Voltage. The all of your columns of thunder and thunderbolts are increased, and they now cast an extra time when only one enemy is struck, dealing less damage. Additional specializations for Thunderous Strikes. Spec Skill 2, Aeolian Chant. Spec, Brewing. Sprites of nature no longer return automatically. Instead, they leave behind potions that, when picked up, cause the sprites to return and grant you increased ATK and max life. This effect stacks. Spec, Fortify. When sprites return to you, you gain shields equivalent to certain of your attack power and take reduced damage to front the next incoming hit. Spec, Electrocharged. Dealing damage with the skill has a chance to trigger a chain lightning, or consume one stack of overload to generate a ball of lightning. Additional specializations for Aeolian Chant. Exclusive Insane Gear, Eldmero Totem. Legendary Effect. You gain supercharged and increased movement speed upon activating Ancestral Spirit, and its CD is halved. In addition, if you lose supercharged at any point during the effect, you immediately regain supercharged, as well as have the remaining duration of Ancestral Spirit reduced. Skill changes. Possess will be reworked into a toggled skill, Soul Blast. By activating this skill, you maintain a stack of dark ailment on your minions and cause them to erupt in a violent explosion when defeated or when they expire, dealing dark damage to enemies. Explosion damage is further increased for each minion fielded. Spec Skill 1, Returnal. Spec, Death Pact. When a nearby ally is defeated or expires, the Ghost Rider gains increased damage for a certain duration. This effect stacks. Spec, Branded. Upon being summoned, the Ghost Rider taunts nearby enemies and gains increased block chance for a certain duration. Spec, Fatalism. The Ghost Rider can only revive once, but gains increased physical size and total damage upon reviving. In addition, it will continue to fight on for a certain duration upon being defeated for a second time. The other 5 specializations are: Spec Skill 2, Lazarus Wave. Spec, Soul Taker. Shades are no longer reanimated but spawned immediately upon enemies being struck with the skill, and their total damage is increased, but they only persist for a certain duration. Spec, Soulfire. Shades now expend their total life to rip into enemies, dealing dark damage and releasing atrophic torrent souls. Any souls you consume when summoning Shades are converted to additional atrophic torrent souls. Spec. Encanement. The skill now ricochets multiple times. If only one enemy is struck, then its remaining CD is reduced by a certain amount. The other 5 specializations are: Exclusive Insane Gear, Halifer's Ossuary. Legendary effect, your Ghost Rider will absorb the homing souls released by Atrophic Torrent and expend portion of its own current life to empower and re-release them as its own attack, with increased total damage. Here's the full rundown of the new class skill specializations for this round. Got any thoughts or cool builds in mind? Drop them in the comments and share with us. Also, the Heliomancer specializations will be available in a later update during the season. Stay tuned.